The Snake, a story by Michael Matthews. In a meadow, in the forest, with the sun sat just on the verge of morn, existed a snake. He was not a very large snake. In fact, he was on the small side, but he was still very much a snake, and very truly alone. He was not alone for lack of trying to make friends. In fact, he spent almost all of his time in the pursuit of friendship. He would try to help the other animals and plead for just a chance, but it was not meant to be. He was a snake, and in the others' eyes, he would forever be a monster, a dangerous trickster trying to get into their good graces. They would let their guard down, and then he would strike. Eventually, as the repeated rejections built up, a deep sadness filled his heart. If they all thought him a trickster, then he must be a trickster. They couldn't all be wrong. Devastated by this revelation, he came to a decision. He would go away, hide in his hole, so he would never hurt anyone with his schemes. And so, he did. Despite his choice, he was still alone. He was hiding for the good of everyone else, but he still craved the companionship of a friend. He would never have one, though, for it would be better for his future friend to never meet him, so he would never betray him. Just thinking about it, he had to hold back a sob. He didn't deserve to cry, but he was too weak. First, it was a single tear. Just a tear that devolved into a long, deep cry of anguish. He cried and wailed and sobbed until he couldn't anymore, exhausted and numb. When suddenly he heard a small, questioning voice. It was a mouse, a small, curious mouse, who had heard his sobs and wails and wondered why he was so sad. The mouse must not have known of his nature, or else it would never have gotten so close to a snake. So the snake warned the mouse, told it to stay back, to go away, so he wouldn't hurt it. This confused the mouse. Why would the snake tell him to stay away if he wanted to hurt him? Wouldn't he want him to stay? And so the mouse, after a moment of thought, asked the snake a simple question. "Do you want to hurt me?" No, but... "Then you won't!" exclaimed the mouse, and then, before the snake could recover, the mouse stepped forward and gave him a hug. Shocked, stricken with silence, the snake just sat there in sheer disbelief. And then, for the second time that day, the snake found tears in his eyes. But for the first time in his entire life, even though he was a snake, he wasn't alone.